Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Two Dads Chillin', podcast for dads, by dads. We are your hosts, Brendan, my trusty partner, Rudolph.
Kind of figured that was coming. Spent the day out in the sun, got a little sun, so a little sunburn.
Yeah, you're looking a little red over there, bud.
Hey, good day out on the course. So
Hey, that beats any day at work, doesn't it?
that's right.
This is episode 3.
Yeah, we want to first of all thank everybody for the love and support that we've gotten thus far, and we want to, just show our appreciation for that. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day to you, my friend.
All right, let's get into it. How's your week? You little tired?
Let's not talk about it.
Long week?
I wouldn't say long week. Maybe a long day yesterday.
Why? What was that? What'd you do?
I found out I'm not 21 no more.
Well,
I mean, I know you're not going to crack on me for my age.
No.
Listen here, old man. No, we went and saw John Party last night after working all day. No nap. And
that's a big thing for you.
I was going to say, you know me pretty well that a nap a day keeps my hair from growing gray.
You're at least an hour and a half napper every day.
Oh, yeah, trust me.
Or most days, I should say.
Yeah, until 5 o'clock hits, and then my phone's going ring, ring. And I'm like, oh, guess that's my wake up call.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good time. I sacrificed some sleep for my wife. It was her favorite artist, so you gotta give some.
Now, is he one of those artists that stands in a single spot at the mic and just kind of does the performance, or does he actually like put on an act?
Kind of wish he did just stay in a single spot because I was
a little all over the place.
My head was spinning. I felt like a bobblehead.
So it was a good show.
It was a good show, definitely, 100%. I would go again.
I mean, concerts aren't necessarily my favorite thing. I can't say the last concert I've really been to. But,
what's crazy is like I already have like 6 or 7 lined up.
Oh wow.
That is definitely my thing. Other than I found out last night 2 things. 2 very, very important things.
Yeah.
Can you guess what they are?
So you were in the pit, weren't you? So you're standing.
Yeah. This foot right here, not so good. No, I found out that I'm not a pit person. Definitely not a pit person. I like to just be able to relax and, groove on my own. Not having 16 different people bumping into me. Did not enjoy that too much.
Do you think it was more so the pit after working all day and, obviously knowing what you do, you're on your feet a lot throughout the day. Had the event been on, say, a Saturday evening, do you think it would have been easier on your body?
I don't know, because another reason why I say I don't know is because the event was at a college campus. And so I think a lot of the audience or demographic, right?
Yeah.
Demographic was young, like college kids, thinking that they are the next Joey Chestnut for beer drinking, like they were pounding beers. I mean, there was one dude who was like, yeah, I'm like, dude, what is, you all right? Like at one point, I literally was like this to him, and he's like, oh, I'm good. I was like, are you though? Like,
it's a little rowdy crowd,
No, I wouldn't say rowdy. I mean, it was definitely when John Party came on, people got excited. But it was just more of, like, I feel you get the marijuana smoking and everything at hip hop and events, or not events, but concerts like that. Whereas, like, the country crowd is more just beer drinking and having a good time. I mean, it was a very good time. The second thing I learned is not to ever go to a concert on a work day. And I gotta wake up at 4 a.m. Excuse me, but
Well, your other ones you got scheduled this year, they on work nights,
not a chance.
all on the weekend.
Yeah, so we're going to see Morgan Wallen and
Is that here or is that out of town?
in Cleveland.
Oh, so
we're going
probably took maybe a day off work or something like that.
I actually scheduled my vacation for that Thursday, and then I come back like a week after that.
Okay.
Because that's not the only concert. So I'm going to Cleveland, and then spend the night in Cleveland, and coming straight back home, showering and everything, going to another concert later that night.
Mm.
Going to see Lil Wayne.
So that's kind of, yours and Maddie's thing
Yeah.
is kind of concerts.
Yeah, we love it. Being a veteran, VetTix gives out tickets all the time. So if we see somebody that we like, we just go.
Try to get tickets for it. And if you get the tickets,
Yeah. I mean, the John Party we paid for, Morgan Wallen we paid for. But we're going to see Brett Young at the end of July as well at one of the casinos. And we just got free tickets to that. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of our thing.
Certainly have fun with that. Concerts are not necessarily, something.
We will definitely have a
I
good
enjoy.
time.
'Cause-
We. And by we, I mean me and you.
I don't know about that.
What about you, bud? What'd you do? You got a couple events going on this week, didn't you?
Yeah, I played golf, had a work event.
It must be nice being able, just leave work, whatever you want,
it was a business meeting.
Oh, I'm sure. I hope you played horrible.
It wasn't my best showing.
That's good. That's what you get. Well, I'm out here slaving.
I hit some good iron shots, but it was not the best day around the green and on the green. I don't know. It's usually decent part of my game, and just not wasn't the day for the.
So what you're saying is you wouldn't have picked this Matt to be my scramble partner. We wouldn't be winning any money.
Not. You wouldn't have got much help from me from the greens.
Well, I mean, I guess that's where in the greener. I guess.
I got off the tee fairly well. Second shots.
Did your club come, by the way? I meant to ask you that.
No, it's actually scheduled to get here tomorrow. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to it.
I'm sure you'll probably play with your cool friends on, not your podcasting partner. I guess I'll just walk out now.
No, I mean, I definitely will. Definitely at the range with the new club.
That doesn't sound like I'm getting invited anywhere.
Well,
not all of us get to go to the range on lunch hours.
Well, it is, about 5 minutes from work.
Yes.
It's not a great range, but
right. It's the one that we played at before your birthday, right?
Yeah. It's there are far better ranges out there, but
because it doesn't have the TrackMan or anything, does it?
Well, it doesn't have TrackMan. It doesn't really have the best, practice balls, range balls. But when you go into it, you kind of know, like, it's not really about like where it goes.
Right.
It's more
right.
about like
the feel,
swinging the club and saying, hey, I made good contact with that one. Like, it may.
Tell them what you saw there when you called me the other day on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, there was a junior golfer next to me, and
he was probably showing you up too.
But it was a girl.
Oh,
but mom and younger brother and a daughter were there hitting, and they had a full-on TrackMan like that they brought from home. And I mean, if you know anything about what those things cost, it's
funny because I said that they cost like $1,000, and you immediately got
yeah, they're
typing away, and
you can get probably a Toyota Corolla for the price of one. New, not even like used. So
I hate you so much.
I think that was a little eye opening for Brendan.
No, dude. I mean, I seriously didn't think they were that much.
Oh, that's not even like. That's just for the unit itself. There's software that's and goes with the annual subscription. Then they have like maintenance packages, where if something breaks, they'll loan you one and until they get yours fixed. So I mean,
It sounds like you are purchasing a car with the whole maintenance package and everything.
Like extended warranty. Get those calls.
You tried this yet?
Yeah, it's
the best.
I personally like the Red Bull Zero. It's a good one. Certainly before my my diabetes diagnosis, I was that Ice Vanilla Berry was, I thought, one of the best Red Bulls that've come out in a long time.
I don't know if I should trust anything you say because you are a dragon fruit liker.
It was a good one.
The most disgusting Red Bull that has ever came out.
I would say that
pear
cinnamon or fig apple,
or that spring one that we had.
Was that the flower one?
Yeah.
Forget the name of it. That was I think I took one drink and then threw the rest away.
Grapefruit and blossom.
I typically like grapefruit, stuff, but this one just was. I think I took one drink and just a drink and dump. I pitched it.
We're talking about drinks and everything. It made me think of, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because my head is just scattered right now. This dude has like 60,000 pounds of peaches just sitting on his table when I get here today to record. He's like, "Hey man, look at this." And I'm thinking that he's gonna show me something, but I'm reading the outside of the box and it says peaches. I'm like,
"Yep, the peach truck."
So I'm thinking, okay, I don't know if I'm just exhausted right now, or does this dude really have peaches? And he opens it up and there's...
It's 50 pounds. We got 2 boxes, so I think it's 50 pounds of peaches. We'll get them in a bag them up kind of individually for cobbler or some pie, and we'll freeze them, and that way we have fresh peaches for cobbler throughout the year. We typically do the same thing with cherries when they're in season, just because. You
need to find the cucumber truck. I know a very special girl, by the way, whose birthday it is today, that would enjoy that. Happy birthday to Ella.
Yeah.
You're getting old.
Yeah, she turns 3, so we got a party scheduled for her.
Is it a party or a party?
It's a par 3 party. So it's golf themed.
Shocking.
I kind of initially threw the idea out to my wife as a joke, and she actually liked it. So it's like, all right, well, we're gonna roll with it. So we're doing, I would say Masters themed food.
So does that mean like when you turn 40, we can do like a front 9 party? That's just like what you would normally shoot on the front 9. Like, is that a thing?
I'm shooting a 40 on the front. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll take a 40-40.
I mean, I know some people that shoot that through the first 3 or 4 holes.
We're all bound to have some bad holes.
Some of us just have them more than others. Not pointing the finger at anybody or anything, or both fingers.
Every hole versus every hole, or third hole. No, I mean We've certainly played golf this year already, and
we got plenty of time to play. I mean, where we live, it doesn't really get bad until January, February. I mean, even 2 years ago, it wasn't horrible.
No, I mean, but fall golf is a little different than in season golf.
It's the best golf.
Well, it starts to get a little colder, and the ball doesn't fly as far. So it's it's adjusting.
But you definitely have a fix for that. I know you. You have a fix for the ball not flying as far.
You just start playing ladies' balls.
You gonna start playing for the ladies' tees too?
I mean, golf ball, compression, ladies' balls. typically have lower compression. So
I forgot to tell everybody, Bill Nye's on the podcast with us today, Mr. Science.
I mean, look it up. It's readily available on a quick Google search.
It's funny because like you could just tell me anything I need to know about a golf ball, but I ask you like, what's the 10th element on the periodic table? You're like,
not my area expertise.
Not my area, but you asked me the scientific of a golf ball. I got you.
I mean, there's kind of things that I've kind of picked up and learned over
Have you drank anything good lately? I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was looking at these, and have you drank anything good lately? Smoked anything good lately?
Had a cigar on the golf course today.
What'd you smoke? The usual?
Yeah, the Liga Privada, number 9.
That's what we smoked on your birthday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, bought a box of those, so still got some of those left.
Those are good.
It's definitely a darker wrapper. It's not for everybody.
Since we're talking about cigars, you want to tell the funny story about me when the first time that we actually hung out and
yeah, he's like, do you smoke cigars on the golf course? I'm like, yeah, and so I started asking him questions, trying to get an idea of what he liked or quite frankly, knowledge as well, because kind of like with bourbon, I try to ask some questions to try to get somebody into something that I think they'll enjoy.
Right.
Because if you're kind of new to it, new to cigar smoking, you probably aren't going to like a full flavored cigar. It's it's kind of leathery, it's peppery. It can be somewhat of a rougher smoke if you're not used to that. So typically you want to stick with maybe a Connecticut. It's a little buttery, lighter. I was asking him questions and I kind of got some indecisive answers from him. So I was like, I'll take care of the cigars. I stopped at the local cigar shop, picked up a couple options, and then.
But you also no, is that what you did? 'Cause I thought you gave me the Cuban, right?
Yeah, I brought that because I definitely it was authentic Cuban,
right?
But I also had some other ones there that we smoked that day too. So we pull up and he's I pull up and he's like, I think we're on the first tee, and he's like, a cigar, and he pulls out a Black and Mild. I think what was it, a plastic tip?
No. Wrong person. Wrong person on that one. No, I don't smoke plastic. Wood tips only.
Okay. He pulled up.
It was a Black and Mild wine wood tip.
And I was like, what is that? I think I instantly threw it out of your hand and said,
probably
no. And gave you a lighter cigar there. Showed you how to cut it, how to light it with the torch.
I know you felt like my dad. And it's funny because we weren't as close obviously as we are now, and it was just I begged you and begged you and begged you to go. Let's go. And you just were so standoffish, and that was our first big moment together. And
yeah,
it's a funny story now.
Yeah, it's something to look back on and laugh. We laugh at it now, but
at the time I was pissed. You're my Black and Mild out the cart.
No, it was we ended up having a great day, and I don't even remember what kind of golf we played, but
I know what kind I played. Same as always. Tree left, tree right. Every 6 holes down the middle.
A top and a duff in between.
Why you gotta talk about that right now? Why you gotta talk about that?
Spade's a spade.
Hey, just remember when you're in the home, because that'll put you in the home, and nobody will come visit you. And you're asking me, hey, take me out one more time. Just remember who will.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you'll probably still beat my ass at golf, but
I mean, I think it's certainly something we bonded over.
Absolutely.
And, I feel like just kind of passing on some of that knowledge, that I have to you, even though we're somewhat similar ages. I know I got some years on you, but
we won't tell nobody that you're close to 40 and I'm not. We won't tell nobody. But no, I mean, it's just cool seeing how our relationship has just bonded over.
Yeah, it's evolved
over that, and now next year we're about to take a vacation together as families, and I would say we're pretty much whatever the word is,
inseparable.
Inseparable. I mean, we call each other every morning. Or I shouldn't say we. There's no we. My phone rings at 7:05 every morning, and if he doesn't call me by 7:10, I'm already texting him like, okay, what I do, or he overslept.
No, I mean, I think that it's something that I value, and
it's crazy though because we never run out of things to talk about.
Well, I think that's there's a new topic, and especially now, with you got
even our kids are getting close now.
Yeah,
Ella screamed.
We got when
Olivia walked through the door.
The sporting events, local sporting events and national sporting events that are going on. We're recapping those every morning. What we thought. Had you watch a game? No.
Right.
Yeah, I watched a game. I turned it off.
So I was gonna throw an idea out. I'm thinking about, during football season, we go maybe 2 episodes a week. What do you think?
You can do that. I know you're a big football guy.
Just during football season, I mean, I feel like a lot of shows do that. Just keep our 2 dads channels, our 2 dads channel, as this, but also have one just
kind of the sports talk.
Yeah, just like a sports talk one. Because I mean, right now, I feel like a majority of people, anyways, that's especially here in America, that's the sport they follow. Is football.
Yeah,
I feel like
there's not as many games,
right?
So
I feel like baseball and stuff is kind of dying down a little, which is, I know you like it, and that. Not to go ahead of ourselves, but I'm sure you and your pops listen to games on the radio or whatnot, or you enjoy going to games with your dad or whatnot. Those are probably some of your favorite memories that you've had, not favorite memories that you have with your dad.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been to opening day with my dad. With his job, he got tickets sometimes. But honestly, I probably have been to more baseball games with my mom.
Really?
Yeah. Reds games, yeah. My mom is definitely more of the sports fanatic.
I mean, I could kind of tell when your dad was here for the horse racing, and he was like, "What do I do? What do I do?"
Well, that's that's the betting side of things.
He was killing me because do I have money in this account? How do I reset my password? I was like,
technology, I mean, this is also the my dad is basically watches YouTube, text, call, camera.
He could basically get away with a flip phone, probably, couldn't he?
I mean, if you could watch YouTube on it, he's got the phone works. Why do I need a new one?
And here I am. I'm like, my phone's at
80%,
60% after a full day's use. I'm like, get this out of here. I need a new one. But
no, I mean, he had one of the the old ones with the 14-pin connector for a while.
Talking about the ones that have the 2 buttons on the side that you push in. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. He had one of those. I mean, he's now upgraded to the new phone, but it's still not I still don't think it's the latest version.
I don't think it's the latest, but it's definitely one of the newer ones because it had face scan and all that. It's crazy.
But it works for him. That's
it's crazy because you and I have talked before, and I'm not going after your age at this at all. But it's I remember you telling me that you remember when you used to check your work emails on a BlackBerry.
Yeah,
that's because kids these days are true.
Yeah, and BlackBerry kind of had their own, messaging.
You had the BlackBerry. What was it? BlackBerry messaging, right?
Yeah,
Or something like that.
like your BlackBerry had its own like, unique number, and you could communicate through that. Kind of, what we would call iMessage now.
Dude, I remember. I think it was like the last one that they came out with, and it had all that. But BlackBerry, they got hacked, didn't they? Like years ago.
Oh,
Or some. I think something happened. And that was kind of like their downfall. But I remember they had a smartphone version of it, and it was. I loved my BlackBerry.
Yeah, I think I had two Blackberries.
You remember the Palm?
The Palm Pilot.
I mean, I know you're probably more of a pager kind of guy.
No, I never had a pager, but I definitely remember, like, my dad having one.
Really?
Dad had a Palm Pilot.
I don't even remember the pagers. Like, I remember the pagers, but like, I remember my dad putting it pager like on there, but I don't remember exactly like what it did or anything.
I remember, car phones that were actually like mounted to the floor.
Okay, now you're really showing your age, bud.
I mean, dad had one of those, and
It's
home phones. I remember home phones.
Oh yeah,
we don't
remember the dial-up internet.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy just looking at from where your dad was, my dad. Well, I mean, your dad is older than my dad, but like even from like you ask him, like how technology has evolved.
Oh yeah, and the advancements. And basically, I look at it as, if technology is out to the consumer market, it's already obsolete. There's something already, unreleased that's already better.
Have you seen the stuff that's going on in Saudi Arabia? Or not Saudi Arabia, excuse me, Dubai? No, maybe it is Saudi Arabia. It's one of those countries that you pay with your face.
Oh. Yeah, you're saying something about that.
Yeah, you literally just like look at the camera and it scans you. Yeah. What? I mean...
I hope your doppelganger is not over there.
That's what I'm saying.
Racking up dead on you.
I've already fixed my credit once. But
or maybe your doppelganger is,
maybe he's the one fixing it, not me, No, but
yeah, we wanna go into today's topic.
Yeah, we can, but there was I couldn't remember. Oh, the one thing for next week, I'm pretty pumped about this. I just wanted to cover this shortly.
That's right. You got big news, don't you?
No.
Aren't you moving next week?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking of the thing with us that we get to talk about next week. We're going to... I'm getting Matt out of his comfort zone, kind of. He doesn't really into the MMA stuff, but we're going to a MMA fight. That'll be...
Yeah. I mean, it's
kind of cool.
I enjoy watching on TV. It's not necessarily something, my wife likes watching. It's...
Which is weird because it's like dudes rolling around,
But I enjoy watching it. It's a sporting event.
Will be your first one?
It'll be my first one in person, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to touch on that. Just something to look forward to next week. But yeah, as Matt was saying, it's gonna discuss our father figures in our life. My father figure is not my dad.
What's his name? Just for the
Mike.
Mike.
Yep. He's not my biological dad by any means, but he's always told everybody that he has 3 sons, which means a lot. He's definitely shown me that blood doesn't make you family.
Sure, absolutely.
And I think kind of like the basis of this entire podcast. Blood doesn't necessarily have to make you a dad. I mean, you're a prime example,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's your fondest memory with him, Mike?
You're gonna put me on the spot for real.
Let's
for real.
That's what we're here for.
So
talk about your feelings.
Oh Lord. No, I mean it's not a sad memory. It's all funny memories. So we were in.
Feelings aren't always sad.
I mean, that is very true. Very true. No, we were in Dallas. We went to Dallas for the Cowboys and Giants. No, it was just a regular Sunday game. I thought it was Sunday night football. I thought it was Sunday night football. I don't know why I keep thinking it was Sunday night football, but it wasn't. And my mom, it was back.
Cowboys Giants games. A lot of those end up being Sunday nights.
Yeah, but this was like I think Vinny Testaverde as the quarterback. I think the way the game ended was Martin Gramatica. I think maybe it wasn't Gramatica. I was so young, like 10 years old. But he kicked the game-winning field goal. Anyways,
sure, that's gives you a kind of a lasting impression.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, because I remember too that trip. He went. My dad took me, and we went. And he's like, my mom gave me money, like buy souvenirs and stuff, and he made me spend my money on a nice steak dinner. I was like, what the hell? But anyways, back to I'm gonna show my age here. I know you're already gonna comment on that. I know you are. But MapQuest. Remember when you had to? There was no GPSs. Remember? You know what I'm talking about? So my mom printed out the directions on paper.
Oh, so we're talking like smartphone, like
Yeah, like
one step above,
or the almanac. Excuse me. But anyway, so my mom printed out these directions on the on paper. Excuse me. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm so tired. She printed them out and she labeled them like hotel to this location, this location, this location, that location, that location. And my dad's gave me the directions. We just got off the plane. Just got off. And he said, "Here, your mom did this, this, and that." And I was like, "Okay." And he gave me the directions. I'm looking at these things, and I was like, "Okay, Dad, we gotta go on this." And we went around this damn loop. You know what loop I'm talking about. You've been to Dallas.
Yeah.
We were going back and forth. I'm pretty sure it's the George W. Bush. Freeway? Is that the
probably like Parkway or Toll Road
or Expressway? Yeah, the toll road. But we went around. Saw the guy. Went around. Saw the guy. Went around. Saw the guy. Finally, after like 2 hours.
Obviously not very good at reading or giving directions.
No. My dad still to this day does not let me live it down. He looked at it. He was like, "You idiot. You're reading hotel to airport." I'm like, oh. But no.
It's funny you say that. I have around here, actually just outside the office here, I have an actual map, almanac, direction book of the U.S. My dad actually gave it to me. It's got all the national parks on the map.
That's like kind of your guys' thing, isn't it? The national park stuff?
Well,
or your family, I guess I want to say.
Well, one of my like fondest memories with my dad is, was it a month or two after I turned 16, we took a family vacation out west and we drove. Right. So it was, me, my dad, my stepmom, my sister, and actually both my sisters, and my temps. I did a lot of time behind the wheel, learning to drive.
He just gave you the keys and let you drive?
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously I had my temps for a couple months at that point. Dad taught me how to drive.
Was this a stick shift? I'm not doing that to be funny or anything, but I know like a lot of cars back then were stick shift, weren't they?
No, this was an
automatic.
It was an automatic, but it was a Ford Excursion. We're talking, I think it might be like one of the longest production vehicles that have ever been made. So, driving that.
You're either sinking or you're swimming.
Yeah. So it was, that would be one of my like fondest memories is with my dad is that um, that trip. A lot of time in the car with the family, music. Seeing different national landmarks.
It's crazy that you say that is because, like I said, next year we're gonna be doing that. We're not going out west, but I'm sure maybe like if you're getting tired of it, Jordan can take over and drive.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy, just like the cycle.
The full circle, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's nuts.
And it's so much different too because
I guess the real question is: are you gonna let Jordan drive the Beamer or not?
He has driven it. He doesn't really like it. Doesn't like driving the car.
I mean, you can get through Atlanta traffic pretty quick in that, can't you?
I mean, there's parked cars or stopped cars. It doesn't matter.
Hey, I mean, you just go through them.
No, I mean that we would definitely take Emily's car. Right. Probably it's a little bit more roomy, more luggage space. So, and better on fuel. But to get back to that, we put it. I forget how many miles it was, but basically, we went out west on the southern loop on the way out and came back. The northern route was through Mount Rushmore and Chicago and everything like that. So, certainly was a great time and something I'll always remember and cherish.
Right. Well, going off our last topic, what would you say is your greatest trait or something that you implement from your father that you not implement? Sorry, what is your greatest trait or something that you got from your father that you implement in your dad life now?
I would say, what I really picked up from my dad from a young age is, my work ethic and
Did your dad play golf during work too? Is that like a?
I mean, he was in sales, so yeah, he played some golf during work, as well. But no, I mean, the reason I say that is, I remember my dad's always been an early riser. I'm a morning person as well. But he I remember coming down the stairs and, he's in the office in front of the computer, answering emails, doing his job, whether that would be Saturday morning, Sunday morning, he always woke up early, made a pot of coffee, and then he was in the office in the morning, doing work. So it's something that I saw and, have kind of taken it into my life as well. Wake up, do the best I can every day. I even drink my coffee like my dad drinks his coffee, black with some sugar. So it's that's something that I feel like my work ethic is similar to him, and I think him hearing that will bring joy to him. That's something that he's passed on to me. So what about you?
I would say the greatest thing that I got from my dad, it's kind of in lines with yours, but it's like not giving up on something worth fighting for. And it's funny that not funny, but it's kind of a coincidence I say that because I have that tattooed on my left side. It was a lot smaller than it is now. It's a little letters are a little stretched. But no, my dad always taught me, or not taught me, but told me, like, if I want something, go get it. If I wanted to be a D1 athlete, go get it. Now, I'm not saying I was a D1 athlete because definitely wasn't or anything, but like he always just instilled that in me is if there's something you want, don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. No matter who it is. Just try your best to obtain that. And if you're happy with, I don't want to say where you're at in life, because I think that's something that you've even taught me is don't settle for what you have now because there's always something better. And that's something that even, like I said, you've taught me.
Well, it's, maybe not better, but it's like, what do you want in life? And whether it's monetary, relationships, there's always something to strive for.
Right.
And, there's goals and, short-term goals, long-term goals. But, it's if you want something or something, like, come up with a plan as to how do I achieve that.
Right.
And then, some of this is not going to be overnight and overnight success.
It's funny because we always joke. And I'm not bringing personal like finances in here, but I always make fun of you for being my rich friend. But like I speak that into I speak that, but I'm trying to speak that into existence for myself. Like you have a goal that you want to obtain by the time you're, what was it, 50 or 40?
40.
Like you have that goal right there. And I'm trying to, I don't want to say following your footsteps or whatnot, but like, I want to achieve where you're at now as one of my goals. Like, but that's something like you've taught me. And that's also like something that he's taught me as well, is because like, I'm not going to say I'm not happy where I'm at because I'm comfortable where I'm at.
Right.
But, like being comfortable, that's not always good. You want to find that next avenue to
expand and learn something new.
Right.
Add more tools to the toolbox.
Right. And, like I see the way that you do with your family, and that's what I want to be able to do, like I strive to be like that. And, that's just like piggying back off of the original question was like, that's a trait that he instilled in me was to not to settle for where I'm at right now. And,
I think a lot of people can hopefully relate to that and come up with some sort of, if they don't have a goal or a plan in place, start small, like,
absolutely.
Hey, I want to, even something as simple as, like, hey, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to make the bed, 5 out of the 7 days of the week, and because there's a lot of studies out there that's saying, like, if you get up and make the bed, I do not make the bed every morning, but like, there are people and studies out there that show like making the bed in the morning, like does things to your psyche because it gives you a sense of accomplishment first thing in the morning.
No, I mean, absolutely. It's like, I'm trying to better position myself to get to that next step in my life to where, I can do things I'm not able to do today, but I can do them tomorrow kind of aspect, and that's just where I strive to be,
Write them down, hold yourself accountable.
Right. And, I think that was like my biggest thing at first was growing up. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. Hell, I didn't even know what I wanted to be or do when I was 28, let alone 30 now, like, I don't know. It's just, but now like it's something that, I think it takes a gut check, or maybe a wake up call.
Also, be understanding of yourself as well, as far as
like what is an actual attainable goal. I'm not going to go out there and say I want to make $300,000 tomorrow. Like,
well, right, but
make it an obtainable goal.
It's not just that, but how, that can be the goal, but what are the goals in between that to get you there?
Right.
Um, you know, we're very fortunate to live where we live, and the American dream is possible,
Oh, absolutely.
with hard work and some sacrifice. But you also, those goals can sometimes change
With
um,
how, like, life
well,
events happen.
well, different situations. Like I'll be very very honest with you. Prior to Ella being born and her diagnosis, you know I was very career oriented. I sacrificed time with my family, time with my friends, because I was trying to advance myself career wise. Working 70 plus hours a week
And
as the norm. And then Ella was born. We got the diagnosis and everything like that. And my priorities needed to change because my priorities became more family oriented. Being there to support my wife, take care of my daughter, uh, be there for my son. Um, and I would say my priorities are still very much that way, um, family oriented, um, and just having that better work life balance.
I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with. They see that paycheck every week, and it's a large sum. Well, like the higher up people in today's society, they see that paycheck coming in, 13,000 more dollars in the bank account. But like you just said, like, what are you sacrificing to get that? You
Yeah, I
know,
mean, there's been times where I've missed or been late to friends, um, you know, um, lake house
and
weekends. I remember closing end of month at a wedding that I had to step out of at the reception. I had to step out into the parking lot to close month end for work. Um, you know,
and it's not only like what you're sacrificing to. It's like, where's your mental state at that point? Like, I know.
you're waking up, you're thinking about work, you're getting home late. You're eating dinner and you're going to bed because you just worked 12, 14 hours, and you know you got to get up early in the morning to do it all over again.
It's something like my mom once said. I don't remember who she was talking to, but it's like, how'd you even have time? She was talking to one of her friends, and she's like, how'd you even have time to, have a baby? Because it's like, when are you, not like you personally, but it's like, when are you even at home to spend time with your wife to, get to that point?
Sure.
And, but I mean, look at where you're at now. It's like you're able to do what you want, and the sacrifices have paid off.
Yeah,
You're very
absolutely.
grateful for the sacrifices.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my definitely my my career trajectory is, I don't want to say it's altered. I think it's just gone in a different path. I think the end result is still possible, but it's just through
Let
through
me,
through a different avenue versus
let me
previous
just
previous.
interrupt you on that one. So before we get on to the last question, so you're talking about, like, all the sacrifices and everything. Like, do you think? I don't want to phrase this. Do you think, like, you're more thankful for what you have and the position you're in now, ba- based on your past, or do you think, like, you look back at your past and you're like, I definitely see that it's easier to achieve if I go this route compared to, spending the 80 plus hours a week. Because you probably don't even, you know, work the 40. I mean, you're there, but, you're able to, you see the trajectory that you're at right now. And you like, do you think it's kind of like a sign, I guess, like you put in, you're getting rewarded. Sorry, I just went on a complete ramble.
no, I
like
mean,
you're getting rewarded now for the hours that you put in then.
no, I definitely think that, the career path that I was on and kind of the path I'm on now, my past path would have been like through operations and, you know, senior ops management, director of warehouse operations, um, where, you know, it's very operational oriented. And, quite frankly, my career goal is, vice president of operations. So
Not of
obviously,
America. Not of America.
no,
I'll be the president.
but no, that's kind of the path that, through operations, obviously, becoming the
Right.
VP of that, now understanding that, that role, encompasses, many different departments and not just, the operation itself. It's a much larger, broader subject. There's where now, I'm kind of in the purchasing procurement
Right.
side of things. So still just, it's a different finger within the same umbrella.
I'm gonna get personal here, and it's only because there are a lot of dads out there like you that you used like how you used to be. Grinding nonstop, working nonstop to give their family. Do you think you and your wife would still be together today if you were still on that same path?
Yeah, I do because,
And I only ask that not to get personal, but like some people don't think that, or some people think that they had to make that change, or else their family wouldn't their family wouldn't be together.
no, I mean, I was, from the get go, I was very upfront and honest with my wife as far as, at the time when we were dating that, I said, look, I'm a very career oriented person. I told her my goals from, from the get go.
Right.
She's always been supportive of it, and, I laid out my plan as far as, you know, my undergrad is in this, I want to go and get my master's degree. And that was a, a minor goal to get me to my bigger goal. She supported me through all of that. I went through an accelerated MBA program that was 18 months of school, 18 consecutive months of school, week in and week out. I had during those 18 months, there were only 4 weeks that I did not have a class. And this was during COVID time.
Right.
And I was actually still going to work every day and wasn't in a position where remote was an option. We had government contracts. So we were deemed to be a necessity. And so, we never shut down during COVID. And if anything, our business grew and grew, to the tune of, 150 to 175% over previous year. So substantial growth. And, certainly there were challenges during that just because, labor, kids were out of school. People couldn't go to work because childcare was hard to find. And quite frankly, the government was giving out COVID dollars. So it wasn't really, incentivizing people to go work.
Right. But yeah, we got about 5 minutes left. Wrap it up a little bit. I'll end it on this. What is your favorite thing to do with your pops?
You know, my favorite thing to do with my dad, that's two things. You know, I like working on like cars with my dad or working on projects. You know, typically it's, you know, cars, you know, just kind of, you know, normal maintenance stuff or like, um, hey, we, you know, clutch went out in your sister's car. Can you help me change it?
Hmm.
You know, like, you know, not your standard, you know, doing brakes and rotors and tire rotations. You know, I like the more complex problems.
Right.
And just because it's, you know, time to spend with my dad. The other thing I'm trying to get him more into now is golf. You know, definitely played, you know, when he was a little younger. You know, I certainly enjoy playing golf. I've got a brother that enjoys playing golf, and so definitely trying to get dad into it a little bit more serious than he takes it now.
I think you're just trying to get him to get into golf so that way you can use the senior flex shafts. And but no, that's awesome.
What about you? What do you?
My favorite thing in the entire world will probably be no surprise to you. It's watching Michigan football game.
You guys
with my
watch?
dad.
You guys watch all the games together?
I wouldn't say all the games, but we do have a tradition of watching game one of the entire year together.
Okay.
So you know, that is my passion, as you know, is Michigan football. Like
Sure.
that is my passion. That is what I enjoy. That is what I love. I mean, I passed down a chance to go play the Brickyard for that. You know, like that's
Is it week one now?
no, but that's it's week 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
But it's something that I enjoy. You know, it's
Sure. I mean,
my dad was never a golfer or anything. He was more of a handyman, whereas you know, I am the
You are
furthest thing from a handyman. But no, that's something, you know.
well, you know, as you get into the house there, you'll
No,
start
no.
to realize
You're a phone call away, and so is he. But you know, that's just stuff I enjoy. Is watching sports with my dad. You know, watching the Natty with him was like a highlight. You know, being a diehard fan of a sports team and watching them with the person that got you into it was. But yeah, that's again, we just wanted to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, to you, my friend.
Yep. Thank you. Same goes to you.
I will. I'm sure we'll do something. Maybe not on Father's Day, the day before or whatever, the week before, just whatever. Yeah. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, or even you know the moms that play dad. You know, I feel like that's something that we didn't even touch on in today's episode was, you know, a lot of the moms out there that play the dad figure as well because dad left and never came back.
Sure.
Which you know that's unfortunate because I feel like
There's
a family staple is from the father figure, but that's something that we can cover in another episode. You know, is just the impact of having that father figure and whatnot. But yeah, happy Father's Day to all the dads, moms, uncles, grandpas, brothers, whoever. Yeah. Any final words?
no. Final words from me would be if you like the content, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. And until next time.
Special, real quick, shout out to Alex. Thank you for editing and all these. I know it's very time consuming, but we appreciate it. And I mentioned it last episode, and I'll keep mentioning it. Be on the lookout for me for a new series called Heelcast. It'll be me and my partner in crime, Andy. We'll be talking everything wrestling. So if you enjoy that, yeah,
A couple weeks away, right?
yep. So,
All
all
right.
right, dads, we are out. I gotta take Rudolph back to the North Pole so he can cool down a little bit.